Can you hear me now? Ah, yes. It's working now. Very good. I hope. Sorry for the short delay. I think it's working now. No, stream is ending. Stream is not ending. Of course, I'm here. Sorry. I think it works now. So please let me know if the microphone is still not recognized, but now it works. Yeah, perfect. I don't know. Some OBS just is completely broken. I had to completely reset everything. So sorry for that. Welcome, everybody. So we still need 4 more members. I'm not sure. Hopefully they will show up in the next 5 minutes. We will meanwhile try to sort out the squad composition. So I explained last time already. Welcome, welcome. For the first fight, we need at least 2 Condi players. It doesn't need to be 2 DPS players. It's also fine if one is, for example, quickness Condi DPS or alacrity Condi DPS. Just, I would say, optimal are 2 players. Okay, so we have 1 elect wheel here. Perfect. 1 second, elect heal. Okay, I guess that's fine. Do you want to tank courier or rather not? Yeah, Heavenfire, I have you. No problem. As always, I will also join the Discord. Hello, hello. So the stream won't hear you. Just if you have any questions or something, you can of course ask me here as well. In general, then courier, that's totally fine. Then I will tank. And or if someone else wants to tank, of course, please go ahead. It's always good in a training session to learn a new role. But typically I would say if the tank knows what it's doing and the healer generally knows how to heal, we are in a good spot. That's totally fine. So let's see. Is someone here locked into one specific role? So Mr. Smith, what's your account name so I can add you if you are you in the guild? Otherwise, just let me know your account name. No, it's fine. And then Heavenfire, you go alacrity heal. No, wait, no, we have already 2 alacrity. Then you can go quick DPS if that's fine for you. And then we should be set if we find 1 more quick DPS. If everyone wants to play DPS, that's completely fine. We have someone who will fill the role. So just let me know. Okay, so then we have Life is Strange. We'll do the quick DPS. And yeah, then we are sorted out. Everyone else that is currently in subgroup 1 will go DPS. And I think who will volunteer for going for Condi DPS? Because we need at least, let's say, 1 or 2 people. Okay. Then, yeah, then Echofox and Perf, you will go Condi DPS if you want to. And you can swap after the first fight if you don't want to play Condi DPS the whole wing. It's just needed for the first fight. And Filthy, you can play whatever you like. Condi, power, doesn't matter. Okay, let me quickly get the invite. Wait. Okay. I mean, Power Scourge, you can play that, but it currently is not a very good build for raiding. So it's more like yeah, it will work in the end, but I think going for a meta build is probably the way to go, especially if you're new to the raid wing and you want to learn how to just progress here. it's better to go for builds that are somewhat decent than go for an experimental build that is probably rather bad. Because Scourge is not made for dealing power DPS, let me tell you that. It's totally fine. I mean, I will explain everything, and it's not like you have to do crazy DPS. Of course, it's really nice if you can do that, but if you don't, totally fine. Hello, hello. So, I think we're still missing someone. Let's wait. It's 8 o'clock, but at least we already have 9 people. Last time we started with 2 or so. So I'm already happy about that. And if the person will not show up in the next few minutes, then we have an open spot. Everyone that is on stream and wants to join can, of course, do that. Yeah, of course, one slot is also fine if we... Just DPS. DPS is completely fine. So I will repeat it again. Whoever has a question in Discord, in chat, always ask. It's in training after all. And last but not least, if anyone has a comment, some feedback, whatever, if, for example, Gould, whoever has some criticism, what I'm telling is wrong, please let me know. It's really important. I don't want to spread misinformation here. Okay, I guess we are now all set. And I can slowly start explaining the fights. Welcome, welcome everyone. You can come with normal DPS, so power DPS is fine. We already have sorted out the quanti DPS. Okay. Let's wait until everyone is here and they can start explaining. Is someone here that didn't do any boss in this raid wing already? So if all of you already did some of the bosses, I can go a bit faster with my explaining. But if someone is completely new, please let me know. Okay, so we have someone completely new, that's fine, no problem. I will try to go over every mechanic. If I'm too fast, please tell me. Or if you didn't understand something, I will repeat it a second time, a third time, however much you need it. So the first fight is actually really cool in that way, because we almost see every single mechanic in the pre-event. Yeah. So in the pre-event, we get to see 3 elites. They are random in the order, but each of those elites have mechanics that will happen exactly like that in the normal fight. Okay. And yeah, I will just explain them. I don't know which order they are currently, but they will, again, like I said, happen in the normal fight, so it's important to understand every single mechanic. I will be the tank in this situation. That means I will also be the healer and the support. We also have a second healer and support. This is important later, because the first mechanic that we will encounter, probably one of the most important ones to understand here, is a green mechanic. So there will be a green circle spawning somewhere in the arena. And this green circle is normally dealt with by just ignoring it. However, but when you ignore it and it expires after a few seconds, everyone in the squad will receive 80% of their maximum health as damage. This can be either just healed and we have back to 100%, or you can get barrier. We have some scourges, so if you see the circle expiring, you can just apply a lot of barrier to your subgroup, and we will still receive 80% of our maximum health as damage, but it will be negated to some extent by the barrier. Yeah? So this is, if you are a little bit aware of the situation, that can help the group a lot. Even if you're not a healer, the barrier helps there. Okay? So the green circle is a really important mechanic. How you are let's say, how the fight is designed as, is normally would be 5 people assigned to go to the green circle, stand in it, and that would negate the damage completely, so the damage would not occur at all. So this is really important that you understand that's how you normally would do it, but it's not like really necessary because we can just heal. So you don't have to swap your skills. You can do that, but I would never swap Blood is Power. This is not needed. I would always stay with your normal meta build. If you can get Barrier via your F skills, that's fine, but you don't have to swap your utility skills for that. At least if you are not the healer. The healer can do that, but not as a DPS. And so this is the first really important mechanic. The second really important mechanic, and that's why a lot of people fail the first few tries, just because it's really oppressive, is a blue circle spawning underneath some players. The circle is quite small, but it's not that easy to detect if you are new to this fight, just because it's not very well telegraphed. That's not true. It's actually decently well telegraphed, but there are so many different things happening at the same time that you probably will not see it the first time. So it's a blue circle that spawns under you, or under some players, and after a short delay, it will expire, and when you stand in the blue circle, you will get randomly teleported across the arena. You can imagine this is quite bad, because with other mechanics spawning at the same time, you might die after that, just from random damage, just from being out of position, and if the tank gets teleported, the boss moves around, that's not good. So always try to avoid this. You can avoid it by just walking out, by dodging, by blocking. Everything works. Even invulnerability, of course, works as well. Just typically, if you're a skilled player, you would just walk out of them. But if you're a new player, try to avoid them at all costs. Yeah. So if you dodge because you don't know when it happens, better than getting teleported. Really important. This is not only telegraphed by the blue circles, it also has another telegraph. It's a yellow border around your screen, just like the Death Shroud of Necromancer, which gives you a green border. The yellow border implies that you stand in the blue circle. So please move out of there if you see the yellow border. That means you stand there, even if you don't see the blue circle. And the last tell depends how you're on your settings. If you have the sound on, there is some, I don't know, crackling sound. Really, I don't know. I'm not good at describing sound noises, but there is some very distinct sound to this attack. And if you are in the circle, you get a different call than if you would not be. So that's important. It's not that bad if you get teleported. It happens to everyone, but please try to avoid it because that's the most important thing. Yeah. And that is very important because if a DPS, for example, gets teleported, the healer will try to heal them if they can, but oftentimes you teleport too far away and you will die because of that. So that's really important that it doesn't matter which role you are, you should always avoid it. Next thing are red seekers. It's like an enemy that spawns periodically. They will increase in quantity over the fight and they deal damage around them. This is important to manage, especially as supporters, to pull them away, to push them away, because they have an AoE around them that deals heavily damage. One is okay, but if they stack, because they come to the group, they deal quite a lot of damage. So it's really important that you understand that this happens, and if you are having some pull abilities, don't use them, or be really careful when you use them to not pull in those enemies. That also means, for example, if you're a druid, we currently don't have one, but a druid has the ability to pull them in or push them, so please push them and not pull them with your Cliff of Tides, I think it's called. So this is really important. That are the most important 3 mechanics. Then there are split phases happening, and that's why we need at least 2 quanti DPS, because in a split phase, the Veil Guardian at 66 and 33% health will be invulnerable and spawn 3 of those Guardians that we fight in the pre-event. One of those Guardians only takes damage from condition damage. So that's why we need 2 quanti damage dealers. When you are about to defeat these elites, they get invulnerable and get a break bar, so you need some CC to CC them and kill them completely. After that, we get the next phase of the Veil Guardian. There are 2 more elites. One of them is just completely normal, doesn't have any special abilities, and the second one needs a boon strip. So it's quite decently important that you have someone that can bootstrap. I can do that to some extent, but we have 2 Scourges and 1 Reaper. Those should actually also be quite able to bootstrap. And I think Filthy Casual plays a power Chronomancer, so they should also have a lot of bootstrap as well in the kit. So it will get periodically a boon that will completely negate all damage, so we have to bootstrap it. Okay, so that's it for the first elites. And also, those will happen, like I said, 2 times in the fight. So I think, did I miss something here? In the pre-event, not. So I think we can start with the pre-event. Just in the pre-event, there will also be the green circle happening and the blue circles. The green circle, if it happens, please, if it's close to you, we can move in there. That's especially important in the split phase. In the split phase, we should stand in the green circle because not everyone is on the group. Yeah, because we have to split to deal with the elites. You will see that when we get to it. And we have to stand in the green circle to deny the damage from the green circle. Otherwise, our condition DPS would receive a lot of damage and probably die to it. But let's start with the fight. I hope everyone is ready. For in the green circle, we have, typically you have 5 people that have to stand there. So it's 5 the number. But like I said, it's only important in the split phase. Everywhere else, you can completely ignore it because we have enough heals to deal with that. Let me check if I have everything set up. Very good. Four. Oh, okay, very good. So let's see which one is the first one. Okay, it's the red one. So we need condition DPS. It's fine, we have 2. Just takes a little bit longer probably. And there you see the first Dread Seeker. Those are quite annoying, but if you have supports that can pull them away, it's not a big deal. Yeah. And if it's not too many, we can also easily deal with them. You see it's a little bit slower because we only have 2 people that actually can deal damage to those elites. The only other source of damage that you can deal to them is actually lifesteal damage. However, lifesteal damage is not that common and of course not that strong, so that you can't really kill this thing with only lifesteal damage, so condition damage is obviously the way to go. Typically, Veil Guardian and almost every single fight in Guild Wars 2 is a power-favored fight. So that means you should not go for Condi DPS if you are min-maxing. So if you really want to get the most DPS going, especially on this fight, you should not go with Condi DPS, or not more than you need to. So now we see this CC breakbar. We just deal with it, easily done, perfect. You also see those blue orbs floating around us. They just will do some damage, but that's about it. You can, of course, dodge them, but that's enough. We can go, the Flash Goblin is already starting it, so let's just follow it into the fight. There you see the green circle. We can stand in it, but it doesn't matter. We will heal. I will see you that this is 80% health. It's quite a lot, but if you have a healer, or 2, obviously, it's even better. So this one is pretty close. In the normal fight, you would move there. But here it doesn't matter, we can just check if we have enough healing. Nice barrier application. So you could see the barrier denied some damage here. And we are all really happy. We can just DPS this. And you could see this fight, we had some boon removal and we didn't even notice that this guy is immune to damage until we remove boons. So we go to the next one. This is the one that I told you. Just normal DPS. The blues will spawn here. You saw them hopefully. And just try to avoid those. This is the attack that everyone has to avoid. It's really, really important. You could see we got some people teleported. Here it's not that problematic, but as soon as we get a real fight, I try to heal you, of course, but that might not be that easy if you teleport randomly across the arena, because I don't have that many ranged heals. Okay, so I think this is pretty straightforward. So we can stand here at the edge of the arena without triggering a boss. Please don't push in yet. It's a little bit bad. It depends on the graphics settings. But like I said, the blue border, the yellow border helps with the attack to see. Also helps with the if you have sound on. And if you really can't see it, you should increase your character and just the shaders. I think it's the important thing. to at least medium. This is the important thing, I think. I hope your PC can handle that, because that's quite important. So we have some food, nice. Yeah, I mean, you could do it like Heavenfire's just tells that you just decrease the volumes and really focus on only the one that is important. But I and Guld, we will try to call out on Discord when the blue will happen. But of course, it's really, at some point, you just have to see it for yourself, because there will not always be someone that tells it when it happens. No, I think that doesn't happen with the Shrink Tonic. Okay, so I did not explain every mechanic, because some mechanics obviously in the fight are not explained in the pre-event. And you can see the arena is a circle, but the circle is split in 3 parts. And every single thing of those split phases, this is not a dungeon. This is a raid. We're doing the first raid boss. And so in the first phase, we don't have any interaction with the arena. But in the second phase, we will start seeing that one of those 3 tiles, one of those thirds, is going to... Wait, is my backpack a problem? I don't think so. So in the second phase, one of those thirds will light up. And it will not only light up, but the lit up part will also deal damage. Yeah? And this will rotate. Yeah? And it's quite easily seeable, but that means the tank has to position in a way that the fight will happen in one of the not damaging fields. So that's really important. And that means I will stand exactly where I am and will just swap between those 2 tiles over the threshold, over the border here. Yeah? So the tank, if you are the tank, I will explain the tank mechanic just because you should know about it, even though I will be the tank, okay? And I know what to do. So you should try to tank without moving at all. Yeah. Only move in the last phase, because in the last phase there will be 2 of those tiles lit up and you can't easily just swapping positions here. So we will typically deal with that in a way that we stand almost in the middle, just to have less movement to do to avoid the tiles. But you will see that, just follow my tag. As always, try to stack on the tag. The only exception to that is, of course, the split phase, where we stay where I am, heal up, wait until possible greens expire, and we will split in a way that everyone except the 2 Conti DPS go to the right pylon. One person pulls the green guardian over to us from the upper side of the arena here, and on the left side, the 2 Conti DPS will move and just kill the spawning elite. But I will call that out when it happens. It's just very important that you don't rush ahead, because it might happen that you die from the green that is currently expiring. But I was telling you about the mechanic with the damaging field. This is just important that you understand it. The tank normally should deal with that. And you just follow the tank around and stand on the tag in a way that you stand behind the boss. Don't get hit by the auto attacks. So the tank, I will be the tank. So please don't stand exactly where I stand, because then you will get hit by everything. But I try not to move, so you can just stand a little bit behind the boss and it should be fine. Lastly, there will be one attack that the Veil Guardian does after the first phase, so in the second phase and the third one, where he gets a break bar. And the break bar should be broken rather soon, because he will deal quite a strong attack that deals a lot of damage. He will be stationary. That means it's actually quite decent if you're a high-level group to deal with that. But as a training group, I would recommend to just go for CCing as fast as we can. I think I mentioned now everything. It was quite fast. Is there something that you did not understand? Is there some problem that you need to get some answers to? Please let me know. It's always better to have it before the fight, better than after. If it's everything clear, then I would just try and see how it goes. Is Wing 1 the easiest? It depends who you ask. I would say it's one of the easiest. I think it's not the easiest Raid Wing, actually. I would say Raid Wing 4 is probably the easiest. Maybe the last boss is a little bit harder, but in Wing 4, I would say is probably, if I had to choose, probably the easiest. But this is probably the second one. Okay. So I should have enough toughness. I hope that no one has more than me. Let's see. Normally you check that before the fight. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I have. So green coming up. Just saying that if you're a healer, try to heal, of course, before that or give some barrier. But you could see everything worked out perfectly fine. If you try to stand behind the boss if you have no movement skills. Green coming up, so either apply barrier or just be ready to heal. Perfect, sounds very nice. Hello, hello. Ah, blue. Okay. Nice, and now we stay here just for a second. We didn't have a green, but that's fine. And now 2 Condi DPS, please go to the left side. Here. Yeah, to this one. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just try to move there fast so that you don't get the attunement, because that will just get you some damage that you don't need to take. But it's fine, I will stay there now. And now we get the CC, just CC. Yes. And now again, I will pull the Guardian to us. Again, now we see the blues. Please don't stand in there. Very good. Only one person got teleported. That's fine. So try to be aware of that. We have the blue. Now we have the break bar as well. Just CC the boss. We have another blue under us. Very good. Only one. So please try to notice why is this happening. Don't stand in the thing, please. In the blue area. Otherwise, yeah, exactly, you get a lot of damage. So this is the damaging field that I was talking about. I can move the boss, of course, but if you stand in blue field, I will still not deny the damage that you will take. Okay, green was spawning, so please try to res our teammate here. So far so good. We had some teleports, but it's okay. Again, red guys, go to the red thing. Please. Okay, we have someone down. It's fine, we get it. So if you have a healer that is aware of that, then you can actually out-heal that. That's not a problem, but please try to stand in the green circle in the split phase, just so that your Condi DPSs have an easier time. Again, party can help here if you're done with the other 2 Guardians. Now we move not to the same position. I move to the middle just because 2 tiles will be lit up. It's important. Try not to get teleported. Yeah, very good. Please come to me. CC the boss. Try not to stand in the blues. Don't go for the green in the normal phase. It's not needed. It will just yeah, will not work in the end. Okay, so far so good. I mean, everyone is alive. I guess we can actually kill if you think that's enough. I mean, I don't know. Just try not to stand in the fields. So move towards me. It's really important that you don't. So you notice that I was moving always in a field that was not dealing damage. So that means you should follow me. That does not mean you should stand behind the boss and stay in a field that will do damage to you. So if I'm standing here where the green arrow is, and you move not too much and stay like there, and I stay with my green arrow here, then you will get damage in the field, even though I moved the boss out of it. So please try to stick quite close to the boss all the time. That's not only important in this fight for the damaging aspect, but also, of course, for the boons, for the heals. Everything is happening on the stack. But I think it's quite nice. You see, Heavenfire only got teleported twice this time. Last time, I think we had more than 10. So that's completely normal. You will slowly improve on that. And if you get more experience, you can easily tank this boss now. You understand how it works, and no problem. Now, of course, like Gul pointed out, every single circle that will spawn, even if it's from another player, blue circle, will teleport you. So that means it's really important that you see the circles. Otherwise, you will get hit by them. There are so many spawning at some point. So it's fine. I think it was actually quite decent. I think the last phase was also not that chaotic. I think we could see that a lot of people have now a little bit better understanding of the fight. So let's go for the next event. It's really easy. It takes just some time. So I will explain it while we do it, I guess. Most people did it already. So I hope everyone stays with us here. So the next event, we will get to cap some circles, some nodes. And every time we cap those nodes, we progress the event bar. And we just ignore the things here. Yeah. But it's really important that you try to always stack with the group, except, for example, Mesmers or even Scourges can teleport you around to move faster to the next spawning circle because the location is random. So just what Good points out, I want to notice this, and I can't stress that enough. The teleport is what kills you. It's not the green. So the green deals 80% damage of your life. Yes. But if you get healed, if you have barrier in your stack, on your group, that's not a big deal. But if you get teleported and then the green happens, you are not in range most of the time from a healer. You will probably die because of that. So always focus on being not hit by the blue circle. So this is really, that's, I would say, the most important thing in the whole fight is not getting hit by this. So you could see we improved by quite a bit, I would say, from last time. Okay, so I hope, let's check if everyone is ready. This will just take some time, take the portals that we get and run and follow me to some extent. We don't need to kill those guys. Of course we can, but it's not progressing the event at all. So it's just, so I mean, these guys we have to kill, but the later ones we don't. So for example, this champion, we can just ignore them or kill them. It doesn't matter. So to the first one, we will walk. There it is. So this is the thing. We have, I think, 20 seconds to close it. We don't need 10 people standing in there. But now you can take my portal if you want, but it doesn't need to be. And we just do that for the next few minutes. If it's close, I won't portal you. If it's far, we will portal. And of course, if you have multiple Mesmers on Scourges or even Thieves, everyone almost nowadays can portal you around. So you can speed up this event to some extent, but as soon as you cap one, you will get the next spawn. So try to be fast, otherwise this event takes longer than we need it to take. I will portal. Okay, almost everyone moved. That's okay. If you don't trust my portals. Now you can take it back. It doesn't matter. If you don't get in the portal, if you want to walk, that's completely fine. This event is not necessary that every single person is always in the capture point. It's just helps, of course, if not enough people are there, we don't capture it in time. And we might fail. So because as soon as one of those things hits the earth, we will die. So we have to cap it in the 20 seconds after it spawned. I mean, there's not that much more to explain about this event. It's quite boring, and if you do it every single week, you will just get bored by it very, very fast. But that's just it. It's a time gate to some extent. Like now, we can also get spawns directly in the same spot, so we don't have to move at all. Yeah, what is there more to say? I think that's all. There's this. And this is just, again, a little pre-event of the next raid fight that will happen, next encounter, so to say, where we have to do that same mechanic, however, under a little bit of more of a time constraint, a little bit of more pressure. So understand that, how we do it, what we have to do here. And again, always try to stay on tech, don't move away. I will portal you to the next one. Nice, more people this time trusted me, very good. We move to the next one by foot. I will portal you. But it's not that necessary. You can do that event without any portals. Yeah, it's just speeding up the time a little bit. And you can also, of course, use, for example, Scrapper Super Speed. There are a lot of options here. It's not like necessary that you have a mass modded portals. Yeah, of course, you can also split up if that's necessary. So if you have two at the same time, of course, you can also split up, and that might help speeding it up. But like I said, it's not like this event is completely crazy on time and you have to do it very, very fast. It's almost doing itself if you just have your monitor turned on and run around and see this circles happening. Okay, so next we have some trash mobs. We just walk in and kill some guys here. Oh, we have only C or swap, okay. That's okay. We can continue here. It's not like there is anything happening. Yeah, I think they are just swapping class. At least that's what I think. It's fine. We don't get any big rewards here, so they don't miss out. And they are already back, so they will get the rewards anyway. Just kill as much of those guys as we need to kill. You don't have to kill all of them. You don't even have to kill the champion here. If you kill all the others or most of the others, that's fine. That's just to open the gate here. And then we will see the next encounter. It's not a real boss fight, but it will reward you with the LI. So with the reward from raids. So wait for the respawn. Don't go in, please. Yeah. Okay, we have to GG now. Sorry. Don't jump in from the balcony. Please, everyone, GG. You now saw why we are a little bit on a time constraint here, because there will be some fog that will chase us or something like that. And it will just kill you when it reaches you. So we have to be fast. It's fine. Just next time, don't do it. Stay on the balcony until everyone is ready and we jump all down at the same time. For the legendary stuff, I think you need the small chests, yes, if you want to go for the late raid armor. But I don't explain that right now. I just want to explain the mechanics because I think it's quite important that everyone understands what we are doing here. Okay, so we can stand here, but as soon as someone jumps off this balcony or wall, we will go and fight and the encounter will start. Yeah, if someone wants to take the stuff here or the chests and show it to people, then we can do that, but I don't want to do that. I actually don't remember where they are right now. So let me explain the mechanics here. So we will go through this hallway, through this walk down this forest, and we will get chased by the spirit wall. And there will be those nodes that we have to capture, which is completely normal. We have to do it exactly like just we did before. However, and this is really important, there will be some so-called walls or something like this spawning that will block our way. So everyone should DPS those walls down, because if they're down, we can progress farther. More on the run. And this is important because, like I said, we are not time constrained, so it's really important that we do that fast enough. And we capture again more nodes, and at last stop I will tell you to stay in the node and I will place a portal down and teleport you to the last wall because it's quite far away. So that means you will capture the node and I will teleport you to the last thing to speed it up a bit. Yeah. The thing is, there is one thing that kills you here if you don't pay attention, which is there is a portion where you need gliding. So you have to jump down from a cliff and you need to open your glider. If you just follow without turning your brain on, that means you will probably die because you have to open the glider. I will tell you when this happens, but please try to not die from falling damage. That would be stupid. Okay, so like I said, nothing more about this event. It's quite easy. Just try to stick to me and follow my instructions, because it's harder to explain this stuff here than just showing it to you, because it's actually not that hard, this event. Okay, as soon as everyone is ready, we will jump down. No, it's fine. I mean, that's why we're here. If you have any questions also regarding achievements, please ask them. We glide as long as we can and stand in the circle here. The DPS players can already push ahead. Only the support players can stay behind, it's fine. And everyone now can DPS the wall down so that we have enough time to continue to the next wall without getting caught by the time constraint of the thing. Again, DPS players rush ahead, just the support stay behind. That's typically how you do it. That's also enough to capture the circle. You don't need every single person here. And you can see it works quite decent. We just kill the barrier and move on. So after this wall there will be the jump. So please, please, please open your glider. We don't want any deaths here. Okay, there's the jump. And now I will place my portal. Just stay in the circle. I will place the portal now. I will teleport. And in this circle. Please DPS the wall rather fast. I told you it will happen at some point that someone dies here. It's no problem. We will still deal with this event and that's it's done. So now we can just rush through those guys here. I will stealth you. Or you can GG, whatever works for you. And now we have to stand on 5 buttons. They are spread across this room. They are quite easily to see. There is one here. Just a white button. We need 5 people standing on all those 5 buttons at the same time. Then we will have done this event and get 1 legendary insight. Typically the hardest one is this jumping puzzle here that I just filed, where you have to jump over some mushrooms on the tree. We have 2 already. 3. 4. And here. Okay. Let's check. The pressure is on. Okay, I'm done. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I think we need. Yeah. So you stay here. I will. Perfect. We are done. So now you see we got the reward for that, and now we will get to the next boss. Again, I just want to mention this. This boss is again a powered boss. So if you have it's not that bad if you're playing Condi, but it's better if you play power, just in general. Okay, so for this fight, it has actually, yeah, we can go to the chest if you don't have it. I will explain the boss already while you collect some chests. So let's start. This fight is quite power crept, so we ignore almost all of the mechanics here. The thing is, it does not really matter if you ignore those mechanics now, because if you can't ignore those mechanics, then you should probably quit the group. The reason for that is those mechanics can easily be dealt with by just ignoring them, because they will not happen if you have enough DPS. And nowadays it's so easy to have that, it's not a big deal. So what do I mean by that? This boss has phases, and as soon as you phase it, it will completely stop doing anything. That means that if there is a one-shot mechanic happening, which this boss has, it will completely be denied if you phase it in time, at 66 and 33% health. So this boss has a very easy attack pattern. It does 2 auto attacks and then 1 slam, and this slam is some damage, but most importantly, it knocks you back. That's very annoying for DPS players, for everyone actually, just because it will deny your rotation. So if you are support, that can give some stability to your party, to your subgroup, or Aegis, that works fine. I'm a Chronomancer, I can easily do that for you in our subgroup, but of course, if you don't trust your group, it's completely fine. So if you don't trust anyone of your supports, you can either have some stability for yourself or just dodge the attack. Because this attack is AoE, so even if I'm tanking on the other side of the boss, it will still hit you. The tank again moves on one side of the arena. The rest of the group will stay behind the boss. We can now move across here, just so that I can set up the how's it called, squad markers. And this is important for the split phase. So this boss at 66% and 33 will get invulnerable, and we have to deal with 4 adds. Those adds will walk from the outside of the arena to the center. And in the center, if it's only one of those, doesn't matter which one, will reach the boss, we will instantly wipe. We can't change it. So that means we have to really deny them getting there. We can't use hard CC, we can only use soft CC, like immobilize, chill, and that stuff. So typically you either have a druid or someone that can immobilize them, do that, and the party or the squad splits up in 2 parties and 2 deals with 2 of those each. They will spawn, I think, in north, south, east, west. And so typically you spread like squad subgroup 1 or subgroup 2 in our case will do 2 together, and the other subgroup will do the other 2. I will give Guld Lieutenant so she can maybe put down the markers while I explain the rest. Like I said, this happens at 33 and 66%. So please be aware where your in which subgroup you are first of all, and second of all, move with them to kill those guys. Don't go alone, because then your DPS will be lower and it's not worth it. And over the whole arena, some orbs will spawn over the course of time. It will increase with the amount of damage we deal to the boss. Those orbs don't really do anything, they just sit around, but they have increasing AoEs. And if you walk into those AoEs, you get a debuff. And this debuff drastically decreases your damage. So please don't walk into those. If you do, you can remove the debuff by killing the orbs and walking into the oranges orbs that will spawn. But I would say, first of all, it's very important that you just don't walk into the AoEs that the orbs will spawn, or typically just ignore them and just stand in the middle of the fight, where it will probably not cause any problems. It's more like in the split phases where it can happen that the orbs stand in the way. Then you can just kill them with DPS. They don't have that much health, so if you feel like they are in your way, just kill them. Then this boss has a very important breakbar attack. The breakbar attack will root the boss in place while it does a big attack, and this attack will deal heavy damage, not only at the end, but already while it's casting. So that means we should CC it quite fast. Yeah? Typically you'd CC it either really fast or you delay it if you have a slow group, but in our case we will just try to CC it as fast as we can. I think it's not a big deal nowadays with the power creep and the DPS. Because, like I said, this boss has a one-shot mechanic, and it will deal that one-shot mechanic at the end of the CC phase. I don't know, maybe a few 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds after that. It depends a bit. And as soon as this happens, we can't really deny it. Typically, you face it before that, so that's not a big deal. How you would normally deal that, so at the release of this fight, you would jump down the arena and use the updrafts to avoid the one-shot attack that will happen in the arena. However, the arena is covered with barriers that you just saw in the previous event, so those spirit barriers. So you have to destroy them first and then jump into an updraft and avoid the attack. But like I said, we can completely ignore this just by DPSing this boss, and yeah, the power creep is real. I think there's only one more mechanic, which is called the egg mechanic. I think in the second and in the third phase, there will spawn some AoEs under the group, and they have some orange telegraph. They are not that big, but they will spawn underneath every player, so there will be quite a lot of them. And you just move out of them or dodge them. If you get hit by those, you will be egged, and that will not only decrease the damage because you can't deal damage while you are egged, but you will also receive a debuff as far as I know. So please don't stand in there. Please move out of that. Yeah, I talked about the black ink. The black ink is the orbs that will spawn and expand in radius on AoE. So just don't stand in that. Or are you talking about the attack, the CC boss attack is also black, bluish? You can stand in that if your healer is good enough, or you can just CC the boss and try to deny this black AoE CC skill that he does. So we will see that in a second. Please, very important, don't move where I move, stand behind the boss. But stand, please, on each other, stack on each other, so that we can all heal you, give you the boons. And very important also, if the tank, for example, I'm, of course, am a healer, but I'm also a boon provider. So don't move too far away from the tank, otherwise you will not receive the boons. Yeah. Okay, so I think I explained everything. I hope I did not forget anything. If you have any questions, please let me know, and don't ready check yet. If you don't have any questions, of course, go ahead and ready check. This boss is actually easier than the last one. Okay, so let's go. We will do subgroup 2 to arrow, and the other one to heart, I guess. Okay, there we have the first CC. Or this CC attack by the boss. And you can see we deal quite a lot of damage to this boss. It's not really important. There's the CC skill. We can now DCC. Nice CC, very good, very fast. I will stand here. Don't move a lot. We now do just damage. We want to get it to 66%. And yeah, looks very good, very clean. Nothing happening. This boss is really easy nowadays. And yeah, that's the first phase. I will go to arrow with my subgroup and then move to the circle one. The other subgroup should move with gold together, please, to the next thing. Exactly, perfect split. Yeah, it's not that hard. I think we will easily one-shot this boss. You can see if you have some slow, or not slow, but some chill or immobilize, you can apply it to deny this, but if you just damage them fast enough, it's not a big deal. Please don't move towards me, stay on the other side, the boss, please. Do not get hit. So CC will come quite soon. Okay, now CC is happening. And see, it's not a big deal. If you have barrier providers, you will also get almost no damage here. If your healers are potent, it's also not a big deal. And if you CC fast, it's not a big deal at all. Try to stay behind the boss. Try to stay in my boon range so I can give you the boons. Again, we do the same split. There is now an orb, so we can kill the orb first, please. You have any range DPS? Perfect. Build a soul here. Try to maybe help me a little bit here. I think it's moving quite fast. If you have any slow cripple here, please apply it. Very good. And so it's really important that you focus on those souls, because if one gets through, it's a wipe, even though if we are really fast. Please don't stand on my tanking spot. Now there's the egg thing. We got a few eggs. Please don't get hit with those. It's okay in a training, but typically you don't want to get egged. CC again. Now we can a little bit go slowly. It doesn't really matter. Okay, Heaven Fire's down. Nice, thanks for the heal. Good. Another CC attacking coming soon. Egg attack first. Got another few eggs, that's fine. You see the area of those orbs will expand, but it's not a big deal. We just DPS the boss, ignore everything. That's the one-shot attack, but we will kill it before it happens. You can see, not a big deal. This fight is really easy. We were a little bit fast with the CC, so we got to see the one-shot attack. That's actually not that bad, so you saw it, how it will just be casted. It's not that interesting in that case. But yeah, that's the Gorsable fight. Do you have any questions here? Or is that pretty clear here? I guess everything fine so far. Then we go for the... First we kill some bandits here. And then we will go to get our barbecue with Sabata. Yeah, I mean, it's not that problematic if you get egged, but typically I would say if you're somewhat experienced, you should just avoid it, because it will just decrease the amount of damage you do heavily, and you of course don't want to decrease your damage because the fight will take longer and possibly you will wipe if you get to the DPS check. So we just stack here behind the stairs so that single one of those bandits comes here. I will now place a portal if you want, and just teleport here and move you up to the stairs. You can take it, and we can just kill the bandits here again. We LOS so that they will come to us. And as soon as we killed most of them, we don't have to kill every single one of them, and we can progress to the last boss of this raid wing. And you can see this time we were really fast in contrast to last time. We just had, yeah, I don't know, better understanding of the mechanics, or my explaining was better. So we have, we can stand here. I will move here and I will activate the thing for you. No, now you left me alone. Okay. Just kill the bandits. And as soon as you killed everything, I can explain this a better fight. You already saw one of the mechanics that is happening in the fight, which is really important. It's the special action key. I won't say it's a bomb because there are 5 bombs happening in this fight, so I will refer to it as the special action key. So this is really important that you understand the special action key, and especially you have it bound to one of your keybinds so that you can use it. Yeah, this is really important. So please have that, be sure to have that done. Thanks for the follow, Blackout. So this is a fight that is a little bit chaotic at some points. So please try to understand every single of the mechanics to not get overwhelmed by them. So let's start. I will start slowly with every single mechanic, one after the other. And if I'm getting too fast, if it's too much, please ask. I can repeat myself, that's not a big problem. So, like I said, the special action key is really important. Why is that? The special action key will happen to semi-random players in the fight. It's not completely random, but it's really nice. Welcome, welcome. So, the idea is, whenever you get the special action key, you can use it to teleport one of the players, even yourself, up to the cannons that will spawn throughout this fight. You can only teleport at those marked locations. Thanks, Gold, for that, by the way. So you can see the arrow markers and all the other markers. Those are the platforms. If you throw a special action AoE skill on there and there's a player on there, this player will teleport up to the platform. This is very important because the cannons up there, they will spawn in a pattern, in a determined pattern, and those cannons will not only deal heavy damage to us over the course of the fight, but also deal damage to the platform. The platform only can receive so much damage before it breaks. As soon as the platform breaks, the fight is over. It doesn't matter how many percent is left on the battle. So the fight is a little bit determined how well you can deal with those cannons. Typically, you assign 2 people to the cannons. The reason for that is you will get a debuff as soon as you got teleported up. That lasts, I think, 30 seconds. So this debuff will just prevent you from getting teleported up again in the next 30 seconds. So now, typically, I would assign 2 DPS players to do this role. Please let me know if you want to do it. Someone that maybe did not do it before, someone that wants to get more experience, because this is a training run after all. You have to be at the right time when this happens. Those cannons will spawn every 30 seconds. So you have 2 players. One does the first cannon and the third cannon, and the second one does the second cannon and the fourth cannon. And after that, I would say just doing the alternating cannons all the time. There is a special pattern where the cannons will spawn, so it's always the same. They follow, so I would say I can show it on stream if you have it. So you can see here, this is the pattern. So it will go first clockwise from south to west to north to east, and then again south, but then it will swap to north, go to west again and east. So this is the pattern, and then it repeats again. We'll post it in chat. You can see and just look it up. I will also try to refer to it as the so-called squad markers, arrow, heart, circle, squares, like that. So it's really important that everyone, not only the people that stay and have to be on the platform to get teleported up, but everyone should know this pattern, because it might happen that you get the special action key and you have to teleport your ally up. Okay? Really, really important. So this is the first and I would say probably most important mechanic of this fight. That everyone understands how this works, because everyone could possibly get the special action key. Okay. The second mechanic of this fight that is really important is the flamethrower attack. This attack will happen after a timer and can collide with the cannon spawning. The flamethrower is just an linear line AoE that Sabetta does that covers the whole platform in one direction, and she will rotate around it 360 degrees. It is semi-fast, so if you're outside of the platform and at the edge of the platform, you will have quite a lot of distance to run, but if you're in the middle, stacking on top of Sabetta, it's really easy to avoid, just moving a step to the left or right. So this is really important because this attack will one-shot. You can't deny it with anything. Even invulnerability skills do not work. Yeah? The only thing that works to deny it is just teleporting above it. Or behind it, rather. So if you assigned a cannon and you're not really secure on your job, you can do that with a teleport skill. For example, if you're Mesmer, you can just use Blink and teleport if you feel like you're getting pressured by the flamethrower, because it will just come very soon to you. You can teleport above, behind it, and you're safe again. So this is the second attack. Then there is a big red bomb. This big red bomb will happen periodically, and in the later fights, even 2 of them will spawn at the same time. This is an AoE that will slowly expand until it explodes. It's always targeted on one player, and this player has to move out, because it will deal heavy damage to all of the party that is standing in there. So please move out when you see that there's a AoE happening on top of you. Yeah? Move out with it, then only you will get some damage and the healer can heal you. But if the whole party gets a lot of damage, that's always a bad sign, especially if mechanics overlap. You can easily bomb your teammates, they will die, especially if they go to cannon or something. It's really bad. Yeah, so there is a circle on the ground and you have some tag over you, some icon that's it's a little bit hard to spot sometimes, but it really says it's a bomb or something, it's a symbol or something, and you see that the circle is expanding. So you have a circle that tells you how much the AoE range is, and just like with Veil Guardian, there is the second circle in there with a different color that expands, and as soon as it reaches the edges, it is exploding. So you see the circle quite easily, but I would say sometimes it gets quite hard to see if it's on you or if it's on an ally. So yeah, I think it's just if you notice that it's moving exactly as you move and it's on you, you should move out. But you will see that is good question. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure. But you will notice it. I think it's typically not a big deal if you bomb the squad once. But if 2 people get the bomb and both don't move out, typically that's a wipe, because we don't have that much effective health. We don't have toughness typically on this fight, so just saying, yeah. Okay. Then we have some enemies spawning in the arena. They will also drop some bombs. So those bombs is just a, how do I tell? It's just an item that will stay on the ground and it will damage the platform. So if you are moving around and see this happening, please go there, press F, and the bomb will disappear. It says something like kick or something. And if you press the interact button, like F by default, it will just disable them. And we don't get damage to the platform, which we obviously don't want, because as soon as the platform dies, the fight is over. Like Will points out, you can also use H's or blocks to deal with this previously mentioned bomb mechanics. However, it can get quite messy if you only rely on H's, for example, because if there are a lot of bombs and other attacks like the cannons and stuff happening, oftentimes the H's is not really reliable. So if you see the bomb is on you, move out. This is really the most important thing there. Then every 25% of Sabetta's health, she will shadow step away and will leave behind random, or not random, but weird champion bandit. And this champion is different every phase. They are not really important what they do. Most of them just deal some damage. It's not really important. But yeah, I don't know. I think I will just explain everything, and I hope we get the gist to every player, not only the ones that are here. Okay, so at every split phase, Sabetta spawns a champion. This champion deals damage. Most of the time it's not really important what the exact attacks are. The only one that is really important to deal with is Knuckles. He will do an attack that needs to be CC'd. So please be aware when this champion spawns and the break bar will appear, try to CC as fast as possible. The break bar is not that big, but it's happening quite fast. So if you not react fast enough as a squad, you might die to that, especially people that are coming back from cannons. So please be aware, use your CC there. So if you're greedy DPS players, go for the CC first and then greed again. This is really important. Otherwise, all the NPCs that spawn here are not that really crazy important. So then there is the so-called kiting mechanic. It's not that impactful, but you should assign one player that kites the flag shot of Sabetta. Sabetta is doing some kind of auto attack pattern, and the last pattern of this is an attack that deals AoE damage and will leave behind some fire fields. They are not completely deadly, you can move in them, but they are dealing quite a lot of damage. So if you have, for example, a boon provider, typically a ranged healer or something, that can move out of the group for a bit, get attacked by this attack and move back into heal. The reason for that is this attack is always targeted on the person that is the most far away from Sabetta. This is, of course, typically no one, because everyone is standing really close on Sabetta, so it would typically go full in the stack, which is not what we want. So one person should move out to get the attack focused on them, kite it out of the group, and then we go back. It can happen that at the same time when the attack will happen, that there's someone coming back going to a cannon and will trigger this attack. So please be aware, if you are a cannon person, that you don't stand 10 seconds earlier on your cannon platform, because then you will get hit by this attack and you get quite a lot of damage, and I probably will not get enough heal to you to out-heal this. So move to the cannon in time, but don't move way too early, because then you will get all the attacks focused on you. Also, of course, you will deal less damage if you move too fast, too early. Did I miss something? I think that's it. Yeah, pretty sure. Are there any questions? Really important. Did I understand? Did I explain everything good enough? I hope last time was not too frightening. I think this fight is actually one of the more fun encounters nowadays, because it's not only a DPS. I will try to call out the platforms and stuff. I will also try to kite the flag shots so that we don't have to do that, to focus on that. But I really try to do it. I'm not sure if I can focus on everything at once. Yeah. Okay, let's check if everyone is ready. Oh, we have to assign the bomb people. I totally forgot. Who will do the bomb? Please, volunteers. I can't do it. I'm a healer. Typically, you need someone that deals a little bit of damage at least to kill the cannons upstairs. Because as soon as you kill the cannon, you can come back. And just like Gould points out, we have to assign 2 people. The first one will do south-north and then southwest. And the second one will do the other one, like west-east and then northeast. So first arrow, then heart for the first, and then arrow and circle. And the second person does the other thing. But please don't be shy. You have to learn it at some point. And it's not like one person has to do the whole job, because everyone has to know the pattern, and if they get the special action key, they have to be aware of that. So please, it's not like you will fail and we all die because of that. Please try to everyone understand how it works, and even if you're not doing the cannon. Okay, so I guess then we have someone that does the second. And we need someone that does the first, please. I mean, we won't start until someone is volunteering. No, that's the wrong. Okay, so we have someone perfect. So Perf is doing the first one, and Cyan is doing the second one. So please, it's not a problem if you fail. Just go in and try to focus on that. So if you're a DPS player, you are typically always focused on dealing the most damage. Please here focus first on doing the cannon and then doing the most damage that you can, because if you fail the cannon, the fight will get very annoying for the rest of the party. It's not undoable, don't get me wrong, but it's not very nice. Typically, we want to stay on top of the cannons as long as we can. Yes, you start with arrow heart if you're doing the first one. And then it's arrow circle. And the second guy does the opposite one, so circle square, and then what's the second one? Heart and square again. So I hope everything is clear. Let's see if everyone is ready. Yes, that's your thing. Perfect. And don't stress it. It's not a big deal. We will try probably this boss more than once. And yeah, at some point we will kill her. I'm pretty confident. Yes, that's it. Yes, you should always try to throw the bomb to a person that is standing on a platform. I think if you don't even have to know if the person is on the right platform. Most of the time it's enough if someone gets teleported, because it's better than than missing the bomb. You see, that was actually the first thing, that is the bomb. Yes, it actually has a debuff. I just noticed on the boon bar. So we have the first cannon, which is south, in 20 seconds or something. Okay. First, yeah, very good. You as a Reaper don't have a big deal with the damage that it does. Okay, someone died already. We can try to do a little bit of understanding the boss fight. This is the cannon, the flamethrower attack. Now we should have going, yeah, exactly. So if you see that someone moves out to the platform, you were perfectly on time to the platform, but you should throw your ally up. Yeah, so this was happening. Now we have to GG. It's not a big deal. Just understand when you get this mechanic that you have the special action key, move to the player that is currently standing on the platform that wants to go up to the cannon and throw it on them. It has a range. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, exactly. So you don't have to do that. If you are the player assigned to it, yes, you can throw yourself up. But if there's someone else assigned, so you're not assigned, throw them up instead. So you don't have to go when you get the special action key, only when you're really assigned to this cannon that is currently spawning. Exactly. So always keep that in mind. The first cannon will happen at, I think it's 8:30, but I will also call it out. And after that, it's always, you skip the next cannon and then go for the second one. So it's always alternating between the first person and the second person. Okay. Please let me know if there's something unclear, because if we always go in and wipe because something is not clear, that's way worse than if you just asked, and I might clear up the confusion. Circle, square, heart, circle. No, heart. Is it heart, circle? I think it's... It's hard square. The second part is circle square, hard square. That's your rotation. But if we really get to the 8 cannon, we are probably quite fine to fight already, and let's see how good it works until then. Circle square and hard square. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's it. Okay. This is again the flag shot, which I was talking about. I got again the cannon. Please don't stand on me. You want to hug me. Then you get a lot of damage. Please move out of the group. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. If we get blocks, it's completely not a big deal. But in the later phases, it might not work out. That's the flamethrower. Someone has to move to the arrow, please. Okay. I mean, at least you didn't die, but okay, don't walk in the flame wall. That's suicide. That was too late, but we can still try to fix that. But typically, you just skip the cannon and you go to the next one. This assigned person will now just go to the hard cannon. Oh, circle cannon, sorry. So if there's someone... Yeah, someone has to go to circle. Okay, it was not in time. It was running out, so I had to throw it. We can continue a bit, but we will not succeed with this. Because please don't move in the flamethrower. Okay, that hurt. So the flamethrower will spawn, and you will see shortly before it spawns where it will spawn. So please try to move in the middle of the arena and then move away from this attack. Okay, so it's getting really messy, so we will not... Okay, we get the first person up, that's good. Okay, yeah, but I think we will just have to reset. I think it's not going to work. But we try to see a little bit more of the mechanics here, just so that we understand a little bit more of the boss fight. Please be really aware when you get the special action key, you have to throw up to your ally. So otherwise they will completely be useless if they move out. Okay, yeah. I think we will GG and start again, because I think if we get the opener somewhat right, people should get a better feeling of how it works. Because, like I said, one person is assigned to move to the platform. So if you're the first cannon person, you go to arrow when it happens. Yeah, when me or Gult will tell you, move there, or you notice on the clock already it's 8:30, you move there. If you are getting the special action key, either yourself or someone else, please move there and push or pull the person up there with the special action key. Throw it on there as soon as the person stands there. It's really important, otherwise they will not get up. So the special action key is somewhat determined by the location where you're standing. No, it's fine. I mean, if someone else wants to volunteer, sure, you can swap, but it's you have to learn it at some point. It's not like you... Yeah, it's not like you really have to... It's too hard. You can actually do it. Yeah, exactly. If you kite, you get it rather often because you stand more outside of the squad, and it happens quite often. So on the minimap, you will see the cannon spawning with a cross, I think, in the corresponding cardinal direction. So I don't have any other tips than that. So typically it happens every 30 seconds. You move to your assigned thing, and of course I try to scream or shout it out, but like I said, if it will not be in the... I try to do it, but focusing on everything at the same time is a little bit hard. Okay, we have another DC, I think. Yeah, and like Gold points out, only on Discord it will have somewhat decent reaction. On Twitch there could be a latency or just a delay that is too much and you will not get it in time. Yeah, of course there are also add-ons like Taco, Blish and that kind of stuff that help you with that. I don't know. It's crazy. A lot of people since the patch came out on Tuesday actually have DCs and latency issues. Thanks for the food, Gold. That's no problem. Happens. Okay, so we just try again, and please be aware the flamethrower will almost always line up very perfectly with the first cannon. So either you wait with the cannon to move there or you teleport up there before the flamethrower happens. Depends a bit on where the flamethrower will spawn. So be ready. Not all. It's a little bit too early, but better. I don't know. It's fine. But you see, this will be the attack that I can't now go to. So it will now happen on south. So please move your to there and help this guy up. Okay. After the flamethrower is. Okay, very good. No one died here. That's good, but we didn't get the cannon. So now you can come back to the group because we don't get anything. Next is west. In 5 seconds. Please throw your Ella up if you get the cannon. You have? Someone has it? Very good. Worked. Nice. Next cannon will be north. Flamethrower. So be careful when you come back. Don't come back yet. Wait until the flamethrower is gone. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Try to move out a little bit earlier with the... Oh, it's north. Very good. Yeah, it looks quite decent now. Very good. Just be careful, there will be more cannon shots now because we did fail one of the cannons. Okay. Careful, flamethrower. Okay. Yeah. East next. Okay, we have the green. Careful, don't jump in with the Reaper Shroud. Okay, that's fine. So this is the guy with the CC. Please CC as soon as the breakbar happens. Nice, good CC. Next will happen on south, next cannon. So yeah, cannon 1 is on south now. Careful with the CC. Very perfect. Worked. Careful, flamethrower. So you can come back now, it's fine. Next cannon will be north. Will be person 2. Move out of the group with the bomb. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, very good. Try to move, yeah, exactly. If you see that someone is standing next to you, move away from them if you get the bomb. Careful, flamethrower will happen in a bit. Don't stand off the group if you are not the kite. Okay, we have another NPC. Next cannon will be west. So circle. I think we are not in time, yeah. You can come back if you fail the cannon, you can come back early, just because otherwise you will get all the attacks on you. It's fine, it's fine. Next one will be east. Careful with the flamethrower, so please come back to the group. Oh, now he died. Oh, everyone died. Not good. Next one is east. So square. I think the platform will die, but we can try to go for more DPS, just understanding the boss a bit better. No, next is south, I think. Really? Ah, okay, but the next one that spawns. Yeah, okay. It's fine. I think we will just die to the platform. Yeah, it's fine. So I could see if we just go more, I don't know, commit more to the cannons, play it safer, then we will kill this boss. Because it's not like we die to the damage, we just die to the platform damage. Yeah? And if you get all the cannons correctly, this fight can go on for almost the time to enrage. So it's not we have any time pressure there. Just go with the cannons, don't die early, and try not to die to the flamethrower. It's not a problem if you fail. That's okay. Happens. Oh, okay, we lose someone. That's okay. Thanks for joining then. Then we have to find another one. Maybe someone from stream is interested to fill the role. Just... No, he didn't do cannons, I think. No, he did not. I actually doubted that we are still doing Sabetta in 1 hour. I hope we kill her before that. So I think you were just DPS, I think. Yeah, so if someone wants to join from chat, please let me know. Otherwise, we will just look for someone that does DPS in the LFG. Yeah, if you find someone, that's also good, of course. So I hope you understand all the mechanics now, because this fight is not like there is a lot of mechanics that you have to deal with. It's more like they are oftentimes overlapping and can get a little bit messy. And if the cannons are not done properly, it gets even more messy. So this is more the thing. Yeah, of course, if you have some kind of tool that helps you, it gets really easy. But I would say if you understand without a tool how to do it, how to move it, then you are even better player. So thanks. We have a person. Thanks, Courier, for finding it. Them, sorry. And just DPS is fine. Okay. If there no question, we just leave the cannon assignment as they are. And you could see we got it to 20%. I think if we just focus a little bit more on dealing with the mechanics properly, it's not a big deal. I mean, I don't know. I just have the Blish HUD right now on because then it's easier for me to command everything and deal with all the mechanics. And I think it's working decently well. I'm using, how is it called? Timers. I don't know if that's the best module for that. I don't use it at all normally. I just use it for the beta cannons if I want to call them out and still focus on dealing with all the other mechanics at the same time. Thanks for the food. I hope everyone has the correct food equipped now, and if everyone is ready and understands everything, we can go for the next try. Hopefully the last. Let's see. Okay. So the first one is south. So arrow cannon coming up in 10 seconds. Don't move yet. Don't move yet. Okay. It's fine. Better safe than sorry, but I can't protect you from the flag shot then if you move too early. Careful. Flamethrower is happening. Okay. So you moved a little bit too early here because I could we didn't get the green bomb before you went there. So that's why you typically move a little bit later just to see where the flamethrower is happening. And yeah, that's just sad. You did notice you had to move, but a little bit too early, so that's why you died to the flamethrower. Okay, next cannon is west. So that's the second person then. Happening now. Very good. Our backup got it. Perfect. And now Sabata is back. Just focus on her. Careful, flamethrower. So don't come back yet. Stay. Okay. Well, now come back really fast. Otherwise you will jump into the flamethrower and get killed. That's why you have to be a little bit careful and check where the flamethrower is. The flamethrower is happening right now. Otherwise you will just come back in the flamethrower, which is not where you want to be. No, I think you can. North cannon. Thanks, Gold, for... Yeah, I can't back up. I'm a healer, but someone else maybe wants to back up. Next cannon is east. We have no one assigned yet. Careful, flamethrower happening. I guess no one wants to. It's fine. It's fine. Worthy sacrifice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we got to see. So we just continue a bit to make it a little bit more to see how it works normally, but I think if everyone that is normally doing the cannon is dead, it's a little bit not worth it, because if Gould does the cannon and if our backup person that already know how to fight the fight goes does the cannon, it's not really worth the training. So yeah, I think it's a GG then. So if you notice when you come back from the platform where the cannon spawns that there is a flamethrower going on, better wait a bit and don't glide instantly, because you can come back and you will die to the flamethrower attack. This is really important. And if you are going too early to the platform to get teleported up, oftentimes you will just get hit by the flag shot, and sometimes you will also get by the flamethrower attack. So please try to go only a few seconds before it will spawn, so that you're on the safe side and you know that the flamethrower will not hit you. Because it's really important to understand the flamethrower attack is really easy to dodge if you're in the center of the arena, because you have to move just a few degrees of the circle to avoid it. But if you are standing outside, you still have just to move a few degrees, but the degrees have a way larger just distance that you have to move to get 1 degree done. If you understand what I mean of the circle. So don't go out too early. Inner circle is smaller than the outer circle. Yeah, that's probably the better explanation. Yeah, very good. But otherwise, it was, you understood where to go. I think it was actually decently fine where we moved. Just a little bit out of sync, I would say. Okay, next try. This is it for sure. I believe in us. So, little bit longer waiting until the cannon will spawn in 4 seconds. Careful, flamethrower first, and then go to the cannon, which is happening at arrow. I have the thing. Very good. So better will move now, so we just kill the NPC that spawns. Next cannon is west, so second person, be ready for that. The better will come back in a moment. Very good, we got it. Try to stand in the middle so that I get assigned the flag shot and no one else. Now either wait a bit or come back really fast. Just wait because the flamethrower did not pass your location yet. So better safe than sorry and stay up. Now you can come down. Very good. Next cannon will be north, so the first person again. Ah, the first person is dead, okay. I guess that's... You can't do it because you did the second cannon already, so that's... Then we have to skip it and go to the next one. I hope someone can back up that, maybe Guld or... You know. This is the backup cannon. Typically you should not do the backup cannon if you are assigned cannon person, because then it will mess up your rotation of the cannons. Next up is east. So if someone can go there that normally doesn't do a cannon, that's nice. Yeah. Is it? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Okay, so next one is south. So if you get the special action key and someone is standing on the platform, please, 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 please push them up. Doesn't matter where they stand at this point. There are so many cannons up, they will probably be at some point where there is a cannon. Careful, flamethrower. So good. It passed you already. You can come down. So far so good. The platform didn't get too much damage yet, but please be aware though. Go to the cannons if you have... if you are assigned for sure, and if you're not assigned and you don't do some DPS, you can go there. Yeah, thanks. It's on hard. Someone is on hard, please, please, please. Okay, no one. So they were jumping, so that's always telling you should do something to them if you have. So please, it was good. They moved perfectly in time, so... So, Filthy, if you move out, you don't have to move out when you get the special action key. You have to move out when you get the big... It's on west or circle, yeah. Yeah. Both of them are... It's actually the same location, yeah. Just... So now it gets a little bit messy, flamethrower, so be careful. You can see there's actually quite a lot of damage now coming down. I try to heal as much as I can, but yeah. Next one will be east spawning, but there is already one. Someone moves. Okay, we got it. Very good. Try to heal our downed ally. It's getting a little bit messy. The platform damage is actually okay, so we could finish if we deal enough damage. We can now just skip every cannon if we want to, I guess, and just focus on the boss for now. Just try to stick on each other so that I can heal you. Don't die to the flamethrower, of course. And 2%. Nice, we got it. So it was not as clean as I wanted it to be, but I thought better kill it now than going for another half an hour. I guess we have to do that again because I'm not completely happy with our performance here. I think there was still a lot of messy things, and I think the cannon people were the two experienced people with us, so it's not like the best thing. But that's the fight nowadays. So if it gets too messy, you just DPS it and ignore all the mechanics, and it works nowadays quite well. So I hope you understand it now somewhat. If you have any questions now, it's completely fine, and it was actually really good. So you did cannons in your first raid ever, and you were actually quite decent. So not a big deal. Very good. So. No, it's fine. There are so many bombs and AoEs happening in this fight. It's really annoying. You get overwhelmed with all the things, and it's yeah, I don't know. You learn it at some point. Yeah, so thanks for the people that just came to helped me with this training. So Gould, also Kuria and Chu, and all the others, of course, for bearing with my explanations. I hope you had some fun here. I'm not sure if we should go for another wing. If you're up for it, we could do another one. But I think it's okay. I think we did maybe next week do another one. Yeah, that's the thing. If you play DPS, you have to focus on the DPS rotation, which is obviously a big problem if you are not that experienced with your class yet, and you still have to do mechanics at the same time. That obviously is a lot of stuff that you have to understand and do right. So that's why I would say always focus on mechanic first, and then decide, okay, the mechanic is done, now I can focus on my rotation. Because you see, this fight, of course, we had now someone that was really good and did a high amount of damage, or all the 3 top DPS were somewhat close, except the first one. So that's just how it is. If you are experienced on that fight, you deal a lot of damage, and you will learn. It will happen at some point. You will understand it. Yeah, so no questions, I guess. Then thanks for joining, and thanks for all the help. Yeah. And I guess we will do another one next week. Let's see. Definitely smoother than last one for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's just improving. If you understand the fights, you will get better. Yeah. I mean, Demos CM is actually not that hard. It's just, again, like Sabetta, you have to focus on the mechanics, and it's easily doable. I think most fights in Guild Wars 2, especially the early raids, if you have 2 or 3 people that know what they are doing, you can have at least 6 or 7 people in the group that will not do every single mechanic and will just get it done. Yeah, it's completely fine. Now you understand it a little bit better with the teleports on Veil Guardian. Sounds good. Yeah, very nice. So, congrats to you if you did it the first time. Yeah, thanks, Gold, for joining. Have a good night. And yeah, also Chu and Kuria, thanks for helping out as experienced players. Hope you still had some fun. Yeah, I mean, you have to learn at some point, so it's good. Everything is fine. I hope you had some fun. Very nice. So I will also leave Discord now for today. See you next time. Okay, but my stream is not done. Don't worry, guys. Hope you all had fun so far. We will now do some other stuff a little bit more relaxed, I hope, so that I don't have to focus too much on the game. Can I talk a little bit more? And yeah, then I guess let's do some strike missions or something. Yeah, if you have any questions or feedback regarding this kind of stuff, let me know. Yeah, I mean, this fight, that's the interesting part. This fight is actually not very... If you are not doing a cannon, this fight is actually quite easy, because there's not that much happening. Yeah, because the boss is standing still all the time. So if you can't deal a lot of damage to a boss that is standing still, then you have to definitely go to the golem and train your rotation. Yeah. So this boss is actually really, if you're not doing a cannon, this is like a DPS golem almost. Yeah. Because you are almost not doing anything than just doing your rotation. So if you did a decent job here, then you know your rotation is actually quite nice. So if your DPS is nice here, you know your rotation worked out well. So this fight, I would say, is heavily dependent on if people understand the cannon mechanic. Because if people understand the cannon mechanic, you have 2 people, typically, I would say quick DPS or elect DPS that you send up, that deal with the cannons. And then you have 6 DPS that just stand on Sabetta all the time and deal DPS. And then you probably, if you're in a good group, you can skip all the cannons. If you're in a not that good group, you do 2 or so cannons and then you skip all of them, because you have enough damage to just brute force this fight. This is how power crept the game is at this point. So, yeah, it's just not, not really hard, to be honest. But like I said, it's not the fault of the people that did the cannon the first time. If you fail the cannon and the fight gets a little bit messy, this is completely fine. That will happen normally. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting that Guild Wars 2 has a power creep, even though Guild Wars 2 doesn't have any gear grind or any increases in level. But the reason is, and that's, if you think about it, actually not that surprising. The reason why you have those increases in the power level of the builds is quite easy to understand if you understand that Guild Wars 2 has, like every other game that is living or already alive for over 10 years and stuff, you have expansions. Yeah. But how can you sell your expansions? Typically, you sell your stuff if you have something that is better than normal. So if you have a new product as a tech company, it has to be better than the latest product that you released before that. It's the same with games. If you have a new DLC, new expansion, it has to have a feature, something that is making the people want to buy it. Typically, that is, for example, a spear weapon, an elite spec, something like that, a new weapon, something new. And this is not interesting if it's completely dogshit and if no one wants to play it. So they have to make it interesting. So like the spear skills, most of the spears at release of Chancevals were really hard to outclass with every other weapon. They were just so power crept in the sense that they were better, strictly speaking, as most other weapons in the same niche. So therefore, the weapon is better than the previous weapon, but it will also just increase the overall damage output of the party. And if you combine it over years and years of expansions and just new releases without really tuning down the existing DPS, that means you have overall an increase in power level. So even though we don't have new gear, we get new stuff that is added to the game that will increase the DPS output. And I'm not only talking about, for example, spears and new elite specs that have to be better at some point than other elite specs to make them sellable, but it's also, for example, the relics. The relics are straight up oftentimes just DPS buffs. Like this, just DPS 7% increase. Yes, there were some runes that were also giving you that, but at the same time you give the 6 bonus and that stuff. So I would say all of that is actually increasing the DPS. So even though we don't have a vertical progression in that sense, we still have some kind of increase over the years of how much power level each of us actually has. Which is, in my opinion, it's fine if they keep it in check, which they do with the next balance patch. They nerf the spears down, at least some of them that are overperforming, like the Elementalist spear, like the Mesmer spear. Those getting nerfed a bit, just to make room for the other things. But if you, for example, look at Chatebot is a little bit nerfed in that sense. You can't use it in instant content. But for example, in open world, Chatebot is broken as fuck. That means that the Chatebot makes open world very trivial to some extent, because if you go down, you can rest yourself, you get all the boons all the time. So they increase the power level just baseline quite a lot over the years, even without increasing the maximum level. So this definitely did not help the raids in the early, at least the early raids, because they were not designed with that in mind. And that means, of course, the fights like Guardian, especially Gorsevel, those are really, really easy nowadays. So you could see we didn't have that much of DPS. Our group was not bad, that's not the case, but the DPS was not crazy. But we could easily skip all the mechanics because it was just too power crept. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, for example, Chatebot, in my opinion, is actually okay. It's not like a feature that I would say is bad for the game. It's just increasing the power level. That's, I would say, subjectively true, objectively true. And therefore, in my opinion, in open world, that is fine, but that's why they did not include it in raids and fractals and that kind of stuff, because there it would be absolutely broken, because the old content would not be able to keep up with the power creep that you get with that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's always some kind of a, it has positives and negatives for sure. To bring in new features that just have to be better than old features, and I get why they do it. They want to sell their stuff, but it's also a little bit sad with the old content in mind. Yeah, you're right. There are, of course, that's you see that a lot in the newer content, in strike missions, in the Wing 8 bosses, that there are a lot of one-shot mechanics in there, or just very brute forced attacks that you deal so much damage over time you can't really out-heal them, and you can't really tank them all the time, so you have to deal with the mechanics. And this is very typical for newer fights, but the old fights like Gorseville, like also like Veil Guardian in that sense, don't really have that. Therefore those fights you can easily skip that. So there are strats nowadays, for example for Veil Guardian, it's very common for good groups to just play without, let's say, moving at all. They just stack in the middle of the Veil Guardian arena and just kill the boss very, very fast. Yeah, you can do that. It's not necessary to move anything. You can ignore every single mechanic in that fight, which is really crazy, because that's of course not how it was supposed to be. And that's without any new introduction of higher level gear. Yeah. But that's just how it goes. It's not like, I don't know, totally crazy. I think a lot of games have that problem, and I think to some extent it's not a big problem, because of course also new people, for example, those guys that were just joining in the thing, if we had the power level of the first expansion of Heart of Thorns, we would not have cleared this raid wing. I'm sure of that, just because it would have been way harder for us from just the DPS perspective. But in that sense, it's okay, I would say, because for me, I would rather have some failed tries in the end, successful raid training try, than having only failed tries, because then people like those guys that joined and wanted to learn the raid fights will get demotivated. And I don't want that. I want to get more people into raids. So that's my take on that. I think there are different opinions on that, and I'm totally aware of that and fine with it as well. But that's just my take on the situation. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, you start out slowly and learn one mechanic after the other. There are so many mechanics in raids, you can't do all of them at once. Yeah. So I always started out with a mechanic that I understood and learned one after the other. So for example, there are fights like Kadim 1 and 2 where you have to do various special assignments, and there are 4, 5, maybe even 6 players that are assigned to special mechanics. And at some point I wanted to learn all of them to just understand the fight. Because in my opinion, if you want to be a real raider, you should try to learn every single mechanic that a fight has to offer. Because only then you understand how the boss works. In my opinion. Because if you are doing only DPS 6 years the same boss, then you will in the end not have understood every single mechanic to an extent that you can do it. Yeah, I think I was so nervous when I joined my first raid training and stuff, because I wanted not to fuck up, so to say. And I can completely feel that, yeah, if you have the same feeling. It's, I would say, even normal, yeah. But that's not a big deal if you just notice it and say, okay, next time I will get it, let's say, a little bit more chilled and will understand how it works a little bit easier. I know more about the fight. I'm a little bit relaxed. So with time and time, you get it better. And in the end, you will be very skilled and might even be more experienced on a fight than me. Why not? Can happen. So I think that's really important that you just embrace the journey that you have from learning something new. And if you do that in a raid training, it's always better than doing that on a fight where you are with people that expect to kill first try, because that's not very healthy. Yeah. Would I say if tank is the hardest role? I would say it depends a bit on the fight. So, for example, on Gorseville, it's really easy. Sabetta doesn't even have a tank. So it's like some fights are not really hard. But for example, if you are the tank on Kadim 2, which is the last boss of Raid Wing 7, I would say you have to know what you're doing. I would say typically, typically the tank, if they don't know what they are doing, you notice it really fast, because this is just a little bit messy then, just baseline. But it's not like you have to know how the mechanics work and that stuff, because typically the tank is just moving around And if you know where to move at what time, then you can ignore every other mechanic. So I would say the tank is a very important, very crucial role, but for most fights it's not really hard. I would say there are 3 fights maybe in raids, not in strike mission, in raids, that I would say are where tanks is probably the hardest thing to play. That doesn't mean it's really hard, but it's, yeah, very important. Yeah, glad you had fun. Yeah, thanks for joining, that you could make it this time, Korea. Thanks. Always happy to have some experienced person helping me, because that helps a little bit to get at least some healing, some stuff going. Because I think if you have 9 people except me that are not experienced, or at least not that experienced, and have to understand their build, focus on their DPS rotation, for example, and then at the same time learning the fights, learning a mechanic, that can get quite, I don't know, just really messy and unnecessarily messy. You will have a way smoother progression if you have someone that at least can fill roles that are necessary. For example, I felt if you have people that don't know how to tank, don't know how to do the cannons and stuff, it can get really overwhelming. So I tried to focus this time on I am the tank, so that I at least take a little bit of the, how to say, harder job away, so that some people get the kills that did not really do a lot in that fight without offending them. Yeah. So that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. So what do we have here actually? I don't know. Maybe we do some strike mission. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I will also release more raid guides. So I started already on the raid guides, because I think a lot of people want to understand raiding and getting into it. And I think it's really nice if you have someone that already watched a guide about a fight before they join the training, because then they understand at least some of the mechanics. Yeah. For me, it's important that if you go totally blind in a fight, it's harder than it's supposed to be, which is completely fine. But most of the time, I would say I like it better if someone really focused on the mechanics and understands a little bit what they are doing before they get in, because then they at least have seen a little bit, and probably the nervousness is already gone a bit. Yeah, so I mean, it's completely fine if you fail, for example, time bombs and stuff. It's, especially on Scourge, I think it's really annoying with the F5 attack with the Shade, because it's always a little bit big of a AoE attack that is actually friendly. But that happens, and if you see typically, I would say 50% maybe of these time bombs actually exploded in a group. So that's not a big deal if the healers are aware of that. Yeah, it can get messy if a lot of them explode at the same time, but I would say it's not like too important that you completely get everything perfect. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, I will definitely put out the videos slowly. I can't produce everything at once, but I have already some prepared. And as we do more raid trainings, I can also put out more raid videos, and then you can watch them, and it's easy. So that's not a big deal, definitely. And if you already watched some other content creators' videos, that's even better then, of course. I hope you still watch mine. That would be even better. So, yeah, I think I'm actually not that sure why they did that Scourge thingy, that you see the AoE around you. I think that's just annoying to some extent. I think it's not really necessary. Yeah. I think it's fine. I think as a Scourge, or if you are a Chronomancer or Druid, those builds have not a big issue with getting bombed from time to time, and you have enough barrier and healing and stuff to make that work. So that's okay. Yeah, that happens. It's fine. Perfect. Yeah, I think it helps, especially if it's a good video that is explaining the mechanics of a fight. It happens often that if you watch multiple times, you see stuff that you did not notice before, you understand it a little bit better. Sometimes stuff is explained not that well, sometimes stuff is just too fast to understand everything at the first time. So I think I totally get that if you watch multiple videos or multiple times the same video. Yeah, sure. I think I try to make my videos a little bit more. I explain the stuff and underlay the mechanic and slow-mo it. I will already have one prepared. I will release it this week, so I think tomorrow. I'm not sure. Tomorrow I will probably release the Veil Guardian guide, and you can see and give me some feedback if you understand the video. Because I really want to have feedback from people that are somewhat new to the fight and might not understand something when I tell it in the video. So please always let me know if there's something that helps you or is not that good, what I did in my video. But like I said, one after the other. I can't make them all at once. And I don't only want to release raid guides, because that's the thing about my content creation channel. I have so many topics that I want to cover. I have a list of, I don't know, 50, 100 videos or so that I want to do. And I can't say, okay, this week I only release raid guides. I think that's too much. I think I will try to, I don't know, try to make it a little bit entertaining as well, do different stuff for different types of players. And I'm really happy if you watch my videos, even if you are experienced or if you know what you're doing, because sometimes I missed something, sometimes you learn something maybe that you did not even know that was important. I think that's fine. Yeah. So I would be really happy if you have some nice interest in my videos, even though if you are already known expert and stuff. I really enjoy Power Virtuoso right now, and I'm really sad that they nerf it. I'm so sad. That's such a good build. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really sad about it. But apparently, and that's really fun, Power Virtuoso will get a nerf, but Power Mirage will actually get a buff, and it will probably be at the same level then, which is really fun. Because Power Mirage never existed before in PvE, in that sense. And they really wanted to focus on that, which is really weird to me, because I think, I don't know, if you have Virtuoso that is able to deal power DPS, and you have Chrono that is able to deal power DPS, why do you need a third elite spec that does power DPS as well? But I guess that's just what they want to do. Yeah, I always like to do some strike missions. I think if you are new to a build, I think my recommendation is to get the corresponding meta build for your class and your spec that you want to play. So if you want to play Virtuoso, you can play Power or Condi Virtuoso. You get the build, get the gear. Even Exotic is fine. And then you go in and first learn your rotation a bit. And then you can, of course, go for easy raid bosses, strike missions, even fractals and that kind of stuff. And then you slowly increase the difficulty and go into more difficult content. I think that's how I would learn a build to get better at it. I would not go and say, okay, now I'm going to go and do Seros CM without having learned anything about Condi Virtuoso, because that will work out in the end, sure. So I think it's really important to understand how you typically do that, how you progress to getting better at that. I think I would not try too much at the same time. Just slowly increase the difficulty of your gameplay. What? No. Such a troll. Sad. I'm really interested to see how the balance patch changes a lot of stuff. I think the balance patch might change some of the stuff and bring it down that was overperforming. But in the end, I would say the balance in PvE is not really changing too much. Which is actually quite fun, because I would say there are some changes for PvE, but they are not really affecting anything other than some high-end benchmarks. I'm not sure if the patch is really designed for PvE in mind. I think it's more like a world versus world focus patch. I'm a little bit sad that the patch doesn't include any reworks. I think rework is, in my opinion, I'm just really sad. I can't repeat myself there, but it's just what I feel. I think rework should be better, for sure, because it's just underperforming nowadays. Yeah. Other than that, I would say the balance patch, I'm quite happy about it. Yeah, I also think that you could see how the raid training is affected by the balance. I was playing Chronomancer and it was really, really good here. Also, Scorch was really, really good as a healer. If you have other healers there that are not that crazy good with output of healing and stuff, I think, for example, Veil Guardian gets way harder. And also other fights might also just struggle way more when it comes to just the raw healing numbers. And also the stability uptime, block uptime, and that kind of stuff is really, really easy to just get nowadays with special builds. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's one of the really sad parts here, that I'm not completely sure why they nerfed it in PvE. I think they were not able to nerf this trait, the functionality, in the competitive modes without affecting PvE. But I think that was one of the most broken, but also very fun just skills to have. To be able to teleport down players to you. I think if you are a skilled Scourge player, you can carry your group so hard. You can also troll your group really hard with that, but in most circumstances, I would say it's a really good skill. And I'm quite sad that they nerfed it, but at the same time, you didn't see it today, but there are fights where Scourge is still extremely busted because, and that's the interesting part, it has immense revive speed. You can't teleport anymore, but with Mercy Rune, you can heal party members to full when they got from downstat rally, which is insane. So there is so much stuff that you could potentially out-heal just by letting people go down and then pumping them off. So I think Scourge is underrated in that sense because it's a really, really good spec. And I'm quite sad that they nerfed the teleport, but I think it's still in a very, very good spot. I think I made it in my tier list recently. I think it would put it in the top 3 healers for sure, together with Druid and Chronomancer. They are definitely the highest tier. No. He's juked me. Crazy. Juked by NPC. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think Heal Scourge is still very, very good, but I totally get it why you say I'm sad about the changes. I'm not sure if it was necessary, to be honest. I think it was it was the wheelchair build, like other people in the community called it, because it was just carrying so many, worse players through the fight. That might be a reason why they nerfed it, just because it's a little bit less fair if you have one experienced person carrying everyone through the fight without even noticing it most of the time. So I think I get that, but I'm still a bit sad. I think it was a really fun mechanic. And for example, I think one of the fights where always, when I was elected to heal, I was always, the first thing, Bone Skinner. I was always going for Heal Scotch. It's such an amazing thing if 9 people go down to the first attack of the boss, or the second one. And then you instantly rest all of them, or teleport them out of their thing. That was such an amazing feeling. I'm really happy. So, yeah, for example, this Flame Wall is the same thing. Flame Wall is actually really crazy if you can help revive them and teleport them through the Flame Wall. It's really cool. I really like that feeling, but it's gone now. That's how it is. So, do you by chance know why Signet of Undeath never revives my teammates? So there could be 2 reasons for that. First of all, if depends, this Signet is not recastable or retargetable. That means if you lose, or if the ally is not in range when you start casting this thing and you move your cursor, it will not change the position where it's casted. And sometimes, like Kurai points out, it is not reviving them because they have poison. If they are really high, almost dying, then it's also hard to get them. So both of that could be the case. I would say typically in PvE it should work. If they have 70% health or something, then typically I would say it's more like you did not really hit the skill. I can show you after this a little bit longer, but I have to swap to Necromancer to show it to you. Because it's really clear. A lot of skills in the game are retargetable. So if you have the skill on, this option that you retarget skills, where is it? Allow skill retargeting, yeah? So then you are really commonly, and use it, you can retarget skills. Yeah, most of the skills you are able to retarget the position. So at the end of the cast, it will use the position that your cursor is currently on. However, some skills, like reviving skills, typically are not allowed to recast. And that is also true for the Signet of Undeath. So if you start casting when the body is not, and you move your cursor to the position where the body is, it will not resurrect them. That's a little bit annoying, because the range on this skill is not that big actually, but I would say it's still okay. I'm not sure if that's the issue, but I think that's the most common or most realistic issue that I could see here. Yeah, but I'm not completely sure. Of course, there could be other issues that come into play here. But I would say that should be typically your last resort. I think if you're playing really Heal Scotch, it's not like you need to use your Signet. I think there are a lot of other good options. You have reviving skills, you have your, how's it called? The healing skill. There are so many things that is definitely, I don't know, helping with the down stats control. And like Kuria points out, I think it's not a skill issue. It's like you learn it, what the problem is, the positioning, and then you next time you do it correctly. I think you just have to have someone point it out to you what the problem is. So if you're pure DPS Scotch, then I would say then you should even more be your last resort. If someone is dying, then it's a really nice thing for you to cast it, but you can only cast it if you have more than 50% life, I think, because it takes away 50% of your life. So that's also a thing that is important. And of course, it's better to revive your ally than let them die, because in the long run, that will of course be not the optimal way. So I get that. Just saying that you should not always focus on reviving allies if you are already damaged or something as a DPS. Yeah. But I think I can show you what I mean with the retargeting, because I think I explained it in a lot of my videos, but I think it's not a very common not a misconception, but a very common experience and stuff that people know about. Because the retargeting in Guild Wars 2 is actually really intricate. There are a lot of options that you could choose to make it better or worse. And I think if you don't know what exactly is happening, then oftentimes it can get really, really, I don't know, confusing. What is the problem in that case? Okay, we have the CC now. Let's see. Our com demanded to have a clean CC. Okay, we had clean CC. Very clean. I mean, I did waste my DPS skill for that, but okay. I think Bone Skinner is one of my favorite bosses. I think it's a very fast boss. It's really fun to play. It has some really cool mechanics. It's nice that you can ignore half of them. I find it really funny. No stability. Sad. Sage. Half of my group died. Why did it die? Why would I res? Do we not have a Scourge? How is everyone still alive? It's actually really funny. So many people just died in this fight. How did they still survive? Scourge is broken. I solo. That's actually crazy. Why are the 2 DPSs here actually top CC? You see, this fight is heavily carried by CC, but typically supports should take a lot of CC. So if I want to dodge the Bone Skinner attack, I would say I play. That's actually true for all the fights that I play. I really like to focus on the boss's attacks and not really focus on the telegraph too much, especially when it comes to Bone Skinner, because Bone Skinner sometimes has really weird telegraphing. The telegraphing is off. Sometimes the telegraphing is not happening at all. So it's really important that you focus on that. Yeah. Yeah. Have fun walking your dog. So this is, for me, in my opinion, really important to always look at the boss attacks. If it's telegraphed or if it's somewhat, I don't know. I think it's really important to me. And that's why I always look at the boss mechanic, boss attacks and stuff. And you could see here, I actually did get hit by some of them. For example, the CC one, because I greeted really hard to get the Spirit Nova skill. But I knew that I could, when I spam dodge, because of the knockdown. The knockdown is, I would say, I don't know, maybe 0.2 seconds shorter than the attack that will happen normally. That one-shots you, the one from the ground, the hands out of the ground. If you instantly dodge, you will not get any damage. So if you know stuff like that, you don't even have to care that much about getting knocked down or your stability provider is not doing that job. That kind of stuff. So if you know a lot about a fight, you can greet really hard as a DPS because you know the mechanics. But I would not recommend you to do that if you are a little bit unexperienced or if you don't know your rotation or your build that well. Because in the end, if you greet and you don't know how long the cast times are, how long the aftercast of attack is, for example, you get rooted in place and you die to it, that's not worth it. It's always way more important if you have something that is, I don't know, helping your group and you survive by just not greeting. No, I did it too early. But of course, Virtuoso, Power Virtuoso is very easy. You have so many dodges and invulnerabilities. I would say if you are semi-decent on this class, you can actually not dodge at all in the fight, in the Bone Skinner fight. You don't have to, without dying it. Which is really funny because a lot of strike and raid fights are like that. You don't have to dodge at all. For example, on Veil Guardian, I think I did not dodge once, even as the tank. Just if you know every single mechanic, how it's telegraphed, how you can position to avoid it, then you don't have to deal with the mechanic at all most of the time. Just position. Let's say the orb here is doing an attack, then you move a little bit to the left and you avoid the attack. This is really important to understand. That oftentimes in Guild Wars, positioning is so much more important than you notice, because you can just avoid getting hit by the attack at all without dodging it. And if you notice, you can have more DPS uptime, and in the end the fight will be over faster. Which is really, I don't know, a thing to understand if you play the game a lot and if you want to min-max it. And I think it's also a very skillful thing to do. If you just want to avoid all this stuff, then you oftentimes can do that just by positioning yourself a little bit better. It's something that you learn, of course, if you want to play PvP, World vs. World. It's something that you learn way more, I'd say, aggressively there, just because if you don't position yourself there correctly, you die. In PvE, it's more like, okay, the healer has to do a little bit more. But in PvP and stuff, if you don't position yourself correctly, you get one shot or stuff. So that's obviously a little bit of a different thing, but still. So I think this is a very, very important thing that differentiates a very skilled Guild Wars 2 player from somewhat decent mediocre player, to understand how important positioning is, even in PvE fights that are rather easy, like Bone Skinner and stuff. But like I said, I don't want to offend anybody that does not understand that yet. It's just a progress of learning. Yeah, at some point you will learn it. Yeah, exactly. I think that's, if you come from a game like WoW, from Final Fantasy, stuff that has a lot of rotation focus, DPS focus stuff, where your attacks from the boss are not that, let's say, action heavy, where you have everything is telegraphed. If you don't stand in a telegraph, you don't get any damage. In Guild Wars 2, that's not the case. There are a lot of attacks that are happening that don't have a real telegraph. They just have an attack. Yeah, like in this fight, it's actually not that decent. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I should read chat even though when I'm talking. So that's something that I should learn. Sorry. So I wanted to say that if you not notice about a game like Guild Wars 2 that there are attacks that hit you even though there is no real telegraph for it, then of course you get hit and you don't know why you get so much damage and die all the time. But I think it makes sense. So some attacks like this, they have a lot of telegraphing. Yeah. But some attacks like the auto attack of this guy, you don't have any telegraphing, but you still get hit. Which is, in my opinion, totally fine, because if every single attack in Guild Wars had a telegraph, I think there would be too many telegraphs. I think some stuff should be better telegraphed. I totally agree with that statement. But in the end, I would say not everything has to be telegraphed. Because that makes the game what it is. I don't know, that's just my take. Yeah, I think I think that's definitely a totally fair assessment. If you want to play a game just with focusing on rotation and getting the best gear and stuff, and don't really focusing on the boss attacks. But in my opinion, I think I really like to have even more layers of skill than just your rotation. I think that helps a lot for me with my enjoyment of a game. If I just check out, okay, I have this attack that I have to dodge, then I can do my DPS rotation. Then this attack comes up and I have to do a little bit of downtime until I can do this attack. I think that is for me more fun, more enjoyable if I have stuff like that. Even if I would learn a new game. I know that's a little bit like an, I don't know, hardcore gamer perspective, but I really enjoy getting better at something. And if the skill floor is really low, I don't really enjoy that most of the time. So if I understand something in the first try, I feel like oftentimes that's too easy and I don't really like that. I want to have some kind of challenge with it. Not like I don't get it in the next 100 tries, but something that is a little bit of improvement possible. I think I really like that. My ideal world is something like the skill floor is not that high. So that means people can quite easily get into something, but the skill ceiling, so how hard is it to master something, that should be quite high. I think that would be ideal. So if the distance, the difference between skill floor and skill ceiling is really high, because that would be ideal for me, because then people would get into the game quite easily, but to master it, you would have way more to do. And I think Guild Wars 2 to some extent does that. Not everything is, every single class and every single, I don't know, mechanic and stuff is like that, but a lot of it is actually. That's why I enjoyed actually quite a lot to learn new stuff. I know not all the people, especially the Guild Wars 2 players, actually agree with me there. I think a lot of people in Guild Wars 2 are somewhat casual and just want to play the game without learning too much new stuff. That's totally fine, I get that opinion, but it's not something that I would say is my take. I would not totally agree with that statement. I like to have some amount of possible improvement to make me an even better gamer. Yeah. So after this fight I can show you the stuff, but I think the person just left, so I can still explain the stuff regarding the retargeting stuff, because it's actually very interesting how it works. Definitely, it's not like you can't enjoy the stuff. Don't get me wrong, I really get it if people want to just enjoy the story, the open world and that kind of stuff. It's just from my personal taste. I have more fun doing something that I can improve on without having to, let's say, fear to some extent that it's easily understandable in my first thing. I think to slowly learn something is a really nice feeling to get better at something. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's always, there are of course various extremes where you would see some people that just auto attack, or sometimes it's really crazy because a lot of builds, if you only would auto attack, they deal more damage than if you would just spam random buttons. Some people do less damage than if they would auto attack all the time. I think I can get why people want to have some really low intensity builds, but I really think if you want to get better at the game, typically it also helps if you want to get more understanding of different builds and learning to press every button or press most buttons at the right time. I get that if you really want to shake your screen and scream that, I get that. I know the feeling, especially when it comes to, for example, sometimes when you have a PvP match and you have a player that you notice they don't do anything correctly when it comes to their damage rotation or just how to play the class. It feels really, really bad. You want to scream at them and say, please press some buttons. Okay, so I wanted to show you the Scourge thing. It's not only Scourge what I wanted to talk about. It's actually the retargeting option in Guild Wars is really, really weird. So let me explain that. Peel elect Scourge. There's the build. Oh man, there's so many. Okay. So we have this skill. And when I cast it, it takes my life away. So you have to have the maximum or at least 50% life. But, and that's the important part, other skills, for example, if you have the retargeting option on, which skill, for example, the shade skill, yeah, manifest sand shade. So if I manifest my sand shade here, it spawns here. Makes sense. But if I start casting it on this guy and then move while I'm casting it to this guy, it spawns on this position. That's because of this skill retargeting option. I think allow skill retargeting, a really good option, especially if you play PvP. For example, you can cast skills and swap in the last second to another player. It hits them instead of the first one. It's really hard to dodge those kind of attacks. So it's really good there, but it's also really good in PvE just to reposition stuff that you might maybe, for example, getting a heal skill off at a moving player or something like that. It helps a lot. Yeah, I think that's really, really important that you allow skill retargeting. However, and that's now we get to the weird part. Yeah, skill retargeting is not every skill is actually allowing you to retarget it. So like I said, most reviving skills are not allowed to retarget. That means as soon as you start casting, so if I start casting my thing here and move the stuff here, it still casts the revive skill, like you can see the attack pattern, still on this person. Yeah. So if you know which attacks happen like this, that's fine. But some attacks, or if you don't know about it, can be really frustrating because you don't know why did it not land where I wanted it to land. That's because the retargeting option is really weird. Not everything is affected by it, or some skills are balance-wise not affected because they would be too broke otherwise. Yeah, that's the first thing. And then, to complicate the matter even further, and that's the sad part, there is the so-called ground targeting option. Yeah, a lot of players, especially if you start with the normal indicator. That means I have to press F1, and now I have the ground target option. And as soon as I press my left mouse button, I will cast a shade. That's the default ground targeting option. But in my opinion, that's too slow if you get more experience in the game, because you have to press two buttons. You have to press your attack button and you have to press your left mouse button to place it, to confirm where you place it. So the second option is, I would say, the more better one, which means fast with range indicator. That means if I press F1, I still get the thing, but currently I'm holding down my F1 key. As soon as I release it, I will cast the skill. Yeah, that means I can now recast or retarget the thing without using a second button. So the first option, I can also retarget it, but I have to use a second button. The second one, can retarget it with only one button. If I release it, it will cast it. Yeah, and then now we get to the really confusing part. Instant means that as soon as you press the button, it doesn't really matter if you hold it pressed. As soon as you press the button, I hold now F1 and I will just continue casting my shade skills. So it always casts as soon as I press the button on the position that my mouse cursor is. But if you have the allow skill retargeting option, that means that you continue to track where the mouse is, and as soon as the cast is done, it will spawn where your mouse is at the moment when it's done. So the instant option is the option that I have because it's the fastest one and the most, if you're experienced, it's the best option in my opinion, because it allows you to retarget skills extremely fast, because you can cast them, press another button, and it spawns on this side instead of there. If you have fast with range indicator, it's still quite fast, but you have to release the button. So it's a little bit longer reaction time, which can kill you in PvP, for example, if you don't use your blink skill fast enough, for example, your teleport skill. But now, let me explain you another thing. The second option, I would say, is the option for more experienced players, and the third option is for the competitive players. So if you really want to go try hard in PvP, you should use the third option. The reason for that is not really that it's faster, it has a different reason. And this is really, really weird. Let me explain why the third option is the best option for a PvP player, because I did not actually explain that yet. It's a little bit faster, yes, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is, so if this is the guy, yeah, that is my first enemy, and this is my second enemy, yeah. This is really hard. Look at it. I cast my shade skill and then I swap to this position. It starts casting the animation on this person, yeah, which is really interesting because I don't target this position. So this person might dodge because they want to dodge this attack, but it never hits there. It hits on a different position. So in the end, you might hit a skill and forcing a dodge of two different players, because the animation played and it completely confused people. Yeah, I can show you this on a different character a little bit more. That, for example, on Engineer, you can see that really, really well. This is extremely strong in competitive modes, because you can bait people to dodge, you can completely confuse people and think, oh, there is something happening there soon, but the skill is actually not casted on this position. Yeah, this is really, really, that's such a strong skill setting combination. So it only works if you have the instant targeting option on, as well as the retargeting option. Only then it works. And this is causing some really crazy mind games, like you just say Heaven Fire. For example, you can see it really nice on the supply crate. So the supply crate, I cancelled it now. You could see that there's some stuff falling down. The supply crate is falling down from the sky. And in PvP, this is a skill that you have to dodge, because it takes, is a 2 seconds done if you don't dodge it. So if you cast it on a position, like I cast it on this guy, and then I swap the target, so I go there with my mouse. It hits here, but here it plays the animation. Let me show you. Did you see? This guy saw the animation. This guy actually got hit. This is insane. This is really, really broken. That alters how the skill functions, because you see the animation on a different area than you actually use the skill. This is absolutely necessary if you want to get to higher rating, to understand how this works, to bait people. Of course, you can, perform really well without it, but it's a tiny fraction to make it even better. Yeah, this is an amazing feature, makes the game way more difficult than it has to be, but if you understand it, it's actually really fun. I really like that. Yeah. To counterplay this, to be honest, you can't really counterplay it. This is the sad part. The counterplay is to dodge because you think you will get hit, and that's it. There's another thing that is exactly the same. That's like the skill stowing. So if you use a skill and stow the animation, it will oftentimes play the full animation. And even pro players just dodge because they don't want to get hit by the skill. If the skill is just a bait and you dodge for nothing, then that's sad. Then you got outplayed. But what can you do? You know, not dodge, then you might get hit, because that's the mean thing. The person might just decide to cast it fully. You know, there is no reason to stop casting it. You can't just say, okay, this guy doesn't dodge, I can complete the cast and stun them. Yeah. So for example, if I'm on Reaper, I have this skill, and then I cast it and I cancel it, and it still plays the animation. I can now do that again. And I can do that now and then, and this skill is so important, everyone has to dodge it if they don't have stability. It's really crazy. It is a 4-second stun if I hit it in melee range in PvP. People are dead if they don't have a stun break and get hit by this. So if I can force a dodge because of that, and then oftentimes I outplay really high-level people that won monthly ATs, I make this, wait a bit, do the skill again, cancel it again, they dodge 2 times, and the next time I hit them. That's just unfair. If you understand how that works, you have a lot of stuff that helps to get better. And then you understand why I enjoy Guild Wars 2 so much, because getting into the game is not that hard. Yeah, the power level in the game is now so high you can easily play open world story without any understanding of how the combat works. But if you learn step by step what you can do like this, it's actually crazy how high the skill ceiling is. It's really fun. I really enjoyed it. But that's of course just my take. Some people find that kind of stuff annoying because it's changing too much. It's too much mind games. It's not like the real game. I don't know. There are a lot of options why people don't like it. But in my opinion, I really enjoyed it. I think that's a really fun thing. I don't know. That's just my take. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. If you're a newer player, you don't have to learn everything all at once. I think it's really important to understand that this is an MMO. It's not like a game that has just released and is in early access, doesn't have that many features. This game is out for over 10 years. I think not only a crazy person would assume you could learn every single thing at the first day or the first year even. You have to learn so much to get to the level of high-level players. And I think this is a fun part of the journey. I really enjoy doing that just because I think having a game and something to always go after, something to improve, makes the game even more fun. If you understand every single thing about a game, it gets a little bit more boring in my opinion, just because you don't have anything new to learn. I have so much more to learn. Of course I know a lot, but not everything. So I always try to watch other streamers that are really good, watch content, just try to improve myself, learn myself about that stuff. So I think there's always something to improve on. That's why I like it so much. That's just my take on the situation. And I think with that, I will end my stream. So it's a nice ending speech. So I don't know. I think that's my end of the stream. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you had fun with the trade training and some other conversations we had. I was really happy about it. It was really nice. Thanks for joining, everyone. And yeah, sure, have a good night. See you next time. Was a nice stream. And thanks a lot. See you around.